I'm excited to talk to you today, guys, about leadership and vision. And one of the key things that I have learned over the years about vision is that it's got to be something that's God ordained. There's a lot of creative ideas out there. I've heard of people who get in brainstorming sessions and they throw out all these creative ideas and things that are outside the box, but then there's that moment of genius where somebody says something and it's a God moment. And so one thing I've realized is that if vision is not an outflow of your prayer life, if it's not an outflow of your passion and your heart for winning souls, then other people aren't going to catch a hold of it. I've shared a lot of creative ideas, and people in the church just looked at me like, where did you get that idea? It's the most ludicrous thing. It's not going to work. But when I think about, or when I share vision that's come from God and is God ordained, God then takes that same seed that He planted in me, that same enthusiasm, and He plants that seed of enthusiasm for that vision in their hearts because it came from Him. One of the things about vision that's very important is that even though it may come from God, and there are a lot of guys out there who get vision from the Lord, but they don't do a good job of communicating it. Vision has got to be clear, and it takes a lot of time, and it's really an art, a science, if you will, how to communicate vision. It's not about just preaching a message that's just pumped up and you get everybody down to the altar and people are cheering and yelling. That's kind of like revival. It's just a moment. Vision has got to be something that can keep them motivated. There has to be components that you can break down. In other words, you've got to be able to, like a car, take it apart and show them and say, this is my vision. Not just, hey, this is a beautiful Chevy, the red color, the big tires. You got to be able to take it apart and say, okay, here's the framework. Here's what it's going to look like inside the cab. Here's what we got to do with the engine. This is what we got to do with the fuel injection. If you can't break it down into small bite-sized pieces that they can handle, because they're not going to be able to handle the whole thing. In fact, I would dare say sometimes it's wise not to share your whole vision at once. You can overwhelm people. Many times I'm 5-10 years ahead of people of where they're at on my staff. And so I have to give it to them in small bites, which means I have to have done the work to analyze it and break it down. It's got to become part of me. If it sounds like I'm thinking it up as I go, then they're going to notice that. People can smell something that is impulsive, something that's not well thought out. And so it's very important that it's well thought out. It's written down, and you reveal it, and it takes wisdom when to reveal all these key components. The next thing I want to talk about in vision that's really important is allowing other people under your leadership to have their own vision. So here you have this covering, you have this great vision, but you don't want to be micromanaging either, in which you have a vision for every little thing that everyone does under your leadership. You've got to leave room for them to have their own vision. So you have your vision, they have their vision, and you're trying to bridge the two together, and that takes a lot of conversation. It takes a lot of interaction, and you have to be careful that you allow people to grow and to explore. I've many times let my staff make mistakes. You can't force them to avoid all the errors and the things that are going to just come with growth. A lot of times they'll share with me their vision, and I see some key components in there that are really that have some potential. But then at a certain point in time, when they're talking about it, I realize, you know what, this may not work. But sometimes I let them learn the hard way. We've got to let people grow, and learning the hard way is just part of that. So vision it can be complicated because there's all these different facets of it. I've seen some dictators who throw down their vision like a slab of beef, and they tell everybody, here it is, here's the raw thing, here's all of it, you got to accept it, you got to just feed off of it. They don't do a very good job of making it palatable, making it attractive for everybody, communicating it. And if we all sit down with a raw slab of beef and nobody else has any ability to put anything with that, or some side dishes or some spices, or to cook it the way that they want it, it's going to be hard for them to stomach it. So you've got to be able to present your vision. It's got to be a plate that's got to garnish. It's got to look tasty. It's got to have butter. It's got to have mushrooms. It's got to have a side dish. It's got to be attractive. It's got to be in such a way that everybody, when they're looking at it, they can understand it. They want to eat it. They get excited about it. And ultimately, here's the coolest part of vision. If you can master the art of vision, people will give. And And I'm telling you, people will give, they'll want to volunteer, they'll want to be a part of it, and they'll be excited. And it'll actually be a surprise to you. You'll share it, and you'll think, wow, I wasn't really sure, but here you see all these people getting excited about it. People are giving to it, money's coming in, people are volunteering, and you start to realize that it's bigger than you. You start to realize that it's a God thing, that God's behind this, and it's not just your own smarts and your own creativity and your own genius. And so get in your prayer closet and begin to write things down, learn how to journal, learn how to analyze your own thoughts, and learn how to break things down. And I'm excited for you to explore your own vision in the Lord. And let me tell you, it will evolve for the rest of your life. Till the day you die, you will be mastering this art. It's kind of like Kung Fu. It's just, you get a white belt and a brown belt and a green belt, and then finally you get the black belt. And there are some guys out there who have a black belt in vision. But you got to work towards it, and so it's not something you're going to get overnight. So keep working at it, keep praying at it, and I know you're going to get there. God bless you guys.